Hi, I'm Dr. Bart and I'll be your product management teacher. Today, I would like to look at Agile Product Manifesto, an initiative started by my product management influencer colleague David Pereira, who wanted to replicate what the Agile Manifesto did for product development, maybe code development, and translate that to, product management, to have the same impact, to make sure that the best value and practices are encapsulated in a very short, digestible form and give other product managers and companies a good point of reference on what product management actually is. Just a side note, don't confuse the Agile Product Manifesto with the Product School's Product Manifesto. I didn't review that one because, frankly, I didn't like it. And David also didn't like it, and he decided to do something about it. So, without being negative on the first attempt, let's look at David's work, David's and his colleagues, friends, allies, and see what came out of it and how useful it is for you as a product manager or an aspiring product manager. So, similar as the original, Agile Product Manifesto is a short document, it's a single website, and we can quickly go through it and make an analysis. Agile Product Manifesto. We believe all products and services exist to make the world better. We've noticed that many product platforms and infrastructure teams struggle to make an impact. We want to help teams create value sooner. That's why we came up with the following manifesto. That's a good entry, though I think that maybe a little bit of business responsibility is missing here, but arguably that can be just very client-centric, where we want to create great products and we trust that money will follow. So, values. Simplicity over perfection. Well, that's how you should do it. You need to release as soon as possible to verify your products against your users, clients, and if you do that for too long, you will spend way too much time without feedback. So here's where simplicity comes into play. Pursuing goals over executing project plans. This is something that is very important in Agile Scrum and what differentiates it from waterfall. It's not about the work itself. It's not even about the product, really. It's about hitting the product goals to make sure that the right metrics, OKRs, are met. And this is a very important value, in my opinion. Understanding the problem over thinking of solutions. In an ideal world, the product manager doesn't really do a lot of solution thinking. It's about prioritizing the problems and knowing which problems to solve first. Well, in the real world, we are about understanding and prioritizing the problems and then finding and prioritizing solutions, quite often even seeing those solutions through. But we're talking about a manifesto, about an ideal situation, and that's completely fine. End user needs over stakeholder opinions. Of course, this is again client centricity and not being stakeholders, shareholders driven, and making sure that you solve real problems. At the same time, just don't take it too literally. You still can and should incorporate what your stakeholders tell you, what are their needs in business, but just make sure that the end user needs come first, that you solve real problems, and you can marry both aspects of deciding what you do with your product. And the final value, measuring results over assuming impact. Well, basically, if you are not able to measure something, you basically didn't release it. You did no work. You need to be able to observe the impact of what you do. Usually A/B testing is the easiest way to do that, but you must make sure that tracking works and you can tell what changed after an increment was set live. That is, while there is value in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. Original Agile Scrum Manifesto is built in a similar way. Building upon the values and those of Agile Manifesto, we suggest the following principles to guide product development. We believe they will help teams focus on what matters the most to thrive. So, principles. Creating value for end users and businesses is what defines success. That basically comes down to the fact that you need to generate the value to the user and not milk him out of money. That's not a way to build great products. Frequently reorient to what creates value. Now, while this is true and helpful, it also consists of a small trap because you may find that you change topics too often and that some of the epics are not closed, that you start work and never finish it. That's why it's so important to make the right call to begin with. If you commit to something, then make sure to see it through, or at least have as much data as possible to secure the fact that you need to complete the project. But by principle, this is of course fine. Embrace uncertainty. Be bold to ask for forgiveness instead of permission. Okay, this is a bit too idealistic to me. I mean, this is how you should work, that you have to try something that may change, that maybe you not always have the permission of your management. But at the same time, this is not a team spirit thinking. Honestly, I take a small issue here because that can lead to like a lying situation where you claim to be working on one thing, but being brave and bold forces you to do something else. Transparency is also important here, and if you can't convince stakeholders to back up some of your work, then perhaps you need to work on your communication skills, then perhaps you don't have enough data, or you just need to find a different company. But the phrase ask for forgiveness instead of permission sounds a bit like asking to be fired eventually. Saying no unlocks focus to deliver valuable solutions. Yeah, you have to be able to say no and focus on what's the most important thing to solve at any given moment. Make assumptions and validate them as fast as possible. That's what product management is about. To be able to make sure that you are on the right track, that you made the right decision, that you measure the outcome of your decisions and make following decisions based on that. The key to innovation is to take small risks, enabling learning and evidence-based evolution. This is another idealistic situation, but if you want to take risk, if you're not certain of something, make sure to mix it up with something that is certain, that is guaranteed to work, and risk as little as you can to find out new brilliant perspectives, new avenues of development and, innovation. But at the same time, make sure that it's not the only thing you have in your backlog and sprint. Measure business metrics and focus on improving them beyond monetary results. The purpose of products for the users is to deliver value, solve problems, and for the business to, monetize. I understand what David and the team wanted to say here, but I would say that make sure to choose the most important business metrics and always improve them. Make sure that every increment you do, every work presented is somehow connected to those main metrics. Keep the product backlog clean. Backlog items age like milk, not like wine. Yeah, that's a very wise thing to say, and sometimes quite difficult to implement. It's not maybe wine, it's more of a herd of sheep, and though the old sheep that don't give milk or have a bad coating, old coating, are still like sheep that you put a lot of work into, and it's hard to let go. At the same time, it's just backlog items, right? Those are not living beings that you get attached to, really. So I really like to put a limit of 50 backlog items at all time, and if something is not likely to happen within the next 2 quarters, just burn it with fire. It's hard. There are important things that will be left behind because of that, but it's the way to do it. If something really will need to be done, it will just make its way back into the backlog under a different epic. Craft a go-live strategy early and work backwards. Yep, just do it, nothing to add. If you know what to do and what is the strategy to do it, then figure out the ways to, meet the strategy to get the goals right. Know your customers and users. Every product has both. Customers and users. Every product has both. What about B2C products? Do they have customers and users? Unless you differentiate a user as someone who is not monetized and customer who is monetizable, when you have some trial. And honestly, I don't know what this point stands for. Know your customers. Build those user personas. Make product discoveries. Ask about prototypes to your users. That's beyond any doubt. But I don't get the part about clients and users. Bond cross-functional teams around the product vision, where everyone is responsible for outcomes. This is very true, and make sure that the whole team understands what you're doing, is behind it, and there's enough of knowledge transfer, so there's always redundancy and you don't have a single person responsible for a single project. The team has to have common goals and they have to meet it together. And finally, product teams are empowered by top management. Oh boy, this is a difficult situation. Usually there is a lot of discord between the management and the people who actually code and create the products. It's a way of having problems communicating properly or not sharing the understanding. In my, quite frankly, non-Microsoft experience, it was more like product teams are discouraged by top management or are brought down. And that, at least in my experience, didn't work well. So I would say that make sure that you have great top management that supports you and your choices. That will then empower the product teams. And there we have it. This is the Product Manifesto. Quick, clean, and covering all that it is really that will help you to be a greater product manager. As you heard, I had some objections, but I'm 95% behind it. Some of the items I may have improved or done differently, but it's still a great website document that will help you become a great product manager. What also can help you become a great product manager is my Udemy course that you can now find on the screen with a QR code or down in the description. But course is a big time investment, and perhaps I can just have you here with me on the YouTube channel. So if you'd like the channel to grow, to new videos to pop up, make sure to like, subscribe, and come back for more videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.